All right. So I'm not gonna sugarcoat this whole thing. As you know, I speak from the heart, and I think that's kind of important because I'm documenting my whole experience with everything that's been going on. So, in accordance with the BLM's 14-day policy, I went ahead and relocated myself once more. This time back to the place where I used to be. Um, I have some mixed feelings about boondocking. Uh, it's a very, I don't know how to explain this. Okay, like there's a very distinctive line between something that's necessary and then something that you do out of kind of like that would be nice to have. Okay, so nothing bad to say about my previous spot. I mean, it was gorgeous, just spectacular views, 360 all around you. Very quiet, very sort of. But the problem is, it was way out there. Like, I kid you not. It complicated so many things in so many ways. It's crazy. I'm blessed to say that it worked out for like off-roading that I was doing. But the problem is, I'm not done with the off-roading that I'm doing, and I still need to go back there. In a lot of ways, I wish, like sincerely, I wish I could just stay there, so that I don't have to. Because now what I'm gonna have to do, this is the silly part about it. I am back to my original place here in Moab, which is the Willow Springs area. And so this is the area that's close to Moab, boom, boom, like 15 minutes you're there. It's very easy to get off the highway to get here. It's very easy to kind of navigate about if you had to. I'm not going to say it's a centrally located place, but it's a conveniently situated thing. Yes, I can dump tanks in here, which is the reason why I just went to Moab. But at the very least, that trip from Moab back here, from that same exact gas station where I'm, doing what I need to do, 15 minutes and I'm here. Like, honestly, I remember when I first got here, like those cliffs over there, all that stuff right behind me. And then, of course, the arches sort of that way. I was taken aback by all of that, because it's like, wow, look at this. But then I spent the last couple of weeks at this other place where it was equally spectacular, without all the inconveniences that are associated with the Willow Springs. Because let's be honest, it's a zoo when it comes to people coming here. But it's a bear to get to like that place over there. And like you have to think 17 times next time about whether it's actually worth staying in a place like that. If you have an opportunity not to move for some time, if you don't have to, count your blessings. Because I had to go from there to Moab twice to dump my tanks. It's well, obviously I'm using water. Like I don't, I don't subscribe to the philosophy where you need to use like wet napkins and stuff or sponges or something like that. When I'm done with off-roading, I come here and I take a decently hot shower, relax, unwind. I use my bathroom just the same. I'm not one of those people that has like a composting toilet or anything like that. So with general regular use, and I am kind of sort of aware that you're technically allowed, in a matter of speaking, to dump your gray water out there. Okay, I'm aware of that, but you know, if you have to dump your tanks, you're just going for the full shebang anyways. So here I am dumping, you know, 3/4 worth of a tank where I could probably keep using it. But the problem is, if you put yourself in a position where your tank is full and you have to drive from a place like that, it's gonna spill all over the place. It's you know, the road that leads up there is like 3 miles of gravel, like that. Everything is shaking in your RV. All your insides are shaking. You going like 3-4 miles an hour, not more, on a washboard. And then you get to the asphalt, and then all the crazies coming off from like the Dead Horse State Park and the Canyonlands State Park, they begin passing you. You know, you're on a 8% slope, you know, trying to maintain your speed while still doing all the curves and going down the, you know, going down the hills and stuff like that. But people are just not, gee, it is crazy. And then, you know, at Moab, I almost got into a car accident because apparently somebody isn't following the traffic rules, right? Like the light turns green, I'm making a right turn just like I'm supposed to be. Out of nowhere, this pickup truck is like 2 micromillimeters from hitting my front because he couldn't wait long enough. So what he did is he turned from somewhere. I have no idea where he was. He either ran a red light or he turned from the opposite side, and he basically found himself wedged between a vehicle in its proper lane going that way and me going this way as I'm navigating through the turn, and the center line medium. And so you know, if you have an opportunity not to move your RV in a place like this, do everything that you can to not move your RV. It complicates things in ways I didn't particularly anticipate. You know, at least with the campgrounds, you know, you go do your camping thing, right? And then you could just go dump your tanks and go, right? Or if you're staying there for extended period of time, what you could do is you could get one of those extended stay, what are they called? Like waste tanks, right? That you could hitch behind your vehicle and basically tow it on asphalt at slow speeds until you get to the dump station. Well, when you're in a remote place like I was, you can't do any of that stuff. You know, you have to move. You have to go, and when you move, somebody takes your spot. Like, you have no idea just how quickly people just go pyong. It's like they will legitimately steal your spot. I could almost guarantee that if I went back to where I'm sitting, it's already occupied. All right. But whatever. So basically now for the next, unless something changes, which it might, hard to say, I'm parked at Willow Springs, and I basically have to go to the opposite side of the Canyonlands National Park, which is a real disappointment because it is far, like crazy far. You know, I'm probably about, I don't know, I'm maybe like 4 or 5 miles from the turn to get into the yeah, maybe about 3 to 4 miles to get to the actual turn from like 191 to go to the parks, right? And then you have to go up this hill on asphalt on a road that zigs and zags like this indefinitely. And then you have to go either on, now in my case, I no longer have to take the Hello Joe Canyon Road, which is also known as Spring Road, because I've more or less exhausted that. But I do have to go to the Mineral Canyon Road, which is, oh my god, it never ends. it's a road, if I had to guess, it's about 20 miles long just to get to where you go down into the canyons. And it is gravel off-road with washboards and all sorts of other stuff. And so it's 20 miles of that, plus probably another 15 miles or so to get to that turn from 191, plus another few miles here, right? So we're talking, like 40 miles each way or something like that. And that eats so much of your time in ways you can't even, like when I was scheduling my whole trip, my principal point was so that I would avoid all of that. And I would have my plans not changed, which they did, outside of my control, yada, yada, yada. I'm still in the area. I'm still in Moab. I'm just in a different part of Moab. But it's just logistically all the little pieces off the board, they are scrambled in unfavorable ways. Because it legitimately does take you time to get to a place like that. Like if you want to go to, say, Lone Canyon, from Willow Springs, you could get there two ways. One is from Moab, okay, and two is from here in Willow Springs. So either way, it's gonna be a very long drive. It will probably take you an hour to get there. And like when you finish work, like in my case, I operate on the Eastern time, despite the fact that I'm here. Simply, to like support the business hours of the organization that I work for. So I finish at 2, right? So by the time you sort of grab a quick bite and get ready and stuff like that, it's already 3, right? And then you spend another hour getting there, right? So that's 4. And then